Hey guys, Aidan here, bringing you a updated Traptrix deck list for the December 2020 format. Let's go ahead and get right on into it. So for the monsters, I'm running triple Dionea. She is your main card for extending past turn 1. And she also has this really neat effect where you can reset trap holes. So typically, if I ever find myself in a situation where I'm playing against a very hand trap heavy strategy, or they have like a capability of Nibiruing me or something, and I've already used Gravehole, sometimes I'll use her effect to reset Gravehole, just so I can ensure something like the Utopia double OTK, or that I can extend past turn 1 without getting my board essentially wiped clear. And I'm running 3 Myrmelio. She's the best starter of the deck, obviously. This might change a little bit when Jinaloa comes out, because Mantis will have a lot more purpose for us. She's your main control card, your main searcher. And I'm running 3 Mantis, obviously. You know, these are the standard 9. Mantis just searches your monsters, and she can avoid spell trap destruction by quick effect returning a spell or trap you control to the hand and resetting one from your hand if you want to. And I'm also playing a Nepenthes. Me personally, I've always liked this card. It's another name at worst, and at best it gets you a Dionea search or any Traptrix summoner, just whatever you need. It's pretty much just another copy of Sarah. And I'm running 3 Exceed. Pretty standard. This is a pure list, so Exceed is essentially your go-to card for extending without Brigandine. And then 3 Ash Blossom. This is a very hand trap heavy format, especially with Called By at 1. So I feel that Ash Blossom is essentially mandatory for almost any deck that is trying to compete in the meta right now, alongside Imperm. And then 3 4 Skipper. 4 Skipper is really good for searching Exceed, and I do run the Striker package to make it, so that I can actually summon out the Exceed off of the 4 Whenever Jinaloa comes out, I'm pretty sure that I'll be cutting these for the Jinaloas, in case you want to find something to cut in the deck, because when Jinaloa comes out, you don't really need the Exceed, or you don't really need the 4 Skippers nearly as much anymore, because we'll be able to actually extend without the use of it. On to the spells. I'm running 1 Dimension Fissure and 1 Double or Nothing. Defissure is for a lot of back row decks. It's for Eldritch, it's for Invoked, Shaddoll, Dogmatica, it's for Dino. There's a lot of Grave decks running around right now, and Defissure pretty much ensures that your first turn, or maybe even if you go second, that you're going to be ensured that win, at least until they are capable of outing it. Because Dinos essentially can't misc when you've got Defissure up. They can't Conductor, they can't do anything. You pretty much shut their entire strategy off with this. It's the same for Invoked, Dogmatic, Shaddoll, Eldritch, whatever that monstrosity is, or just any of those strategies. So then moving on to the traps, I'm running 3 Judgment. I'm actually in the process of changing this deck to as much gold rare as possible. And then 3 Imperm. Oh, I forgot to talk about the Judgment a little bit, but I pretty much run it because I feel that it's mandatory. I don't ever want to run it inside, because it's always been like, it's always been helpful, even if I'm being forced to go second, because I can break their board if they try to extend further, and most of the time a lot of people will try to do that. They won't just try to poke for damage. So a lot of people do make those mistakes, and I want to punish them for it. But 3 Imperm, you know, pretty good. Trigger Sarah, good hand trap. I used to absolutely hate Imperm in this deck, but that was when the format was a lot slower because it would turn off Brigandine, and at that point in time, I was pretty much like, well, do I really want to risk losing my main combo for just getting a monster effect off board? And in the current meta, my answer is now yes. I do want to risk that, especially because we have Exceed and everything, so I'm running 3 Compulse. Easy normal trap. If you're running the Dogmatica version of Traptrix, this is just exchanged for punishment pretty much, and you run the 3 Ecclesia and everything, so you just replace the Dimension Fissure with Fuller, the Exceeds with Ecclesia, you know, pretty simple stuff. And then I'm running 3 of the Goat, Shade Brigandine. This is essentially what makes this deck function as well as it does. And I do believe that this strategy is extremely underrated. I think Traptrix has a chance of being one of the rogue contenders because it's a lot like Zodiac, where you just keep trying to kill it, but it just keeps coming back. And it has that very powerful built-in protection, especially from Mephilia. And you can set up anywhere from like 4 to like 8 interruption boards. It's crazy, especially with the Dogmatica variant. But sadly, I think that a lot of people misuse the deck because the deck does take a lot of knowledge about other decks in order to play successfully. Because of course it is a control deck, you need to hit the proper cards in order to quote-unquote plus in board state advantage. You want to get that advantage over your opponent. And if you make the wrong calls, your opponent is going to be the one that punishes you for that. I am running 2 Traptrix because I'm running Sanctum inside. So 2 Traptrix, 2 Sanctum. I don't ever want to run the 3rd because I feel like 3 is too bricky. It's really bad if you open double Traptrix. That's the thing. And I know the math is, oh well, if you run 3 copies then you're not going to brick like hardly as much as you think you are with only 2 copies, but this is just what I'm comfortable with. As for the trap holes, I'm running a Nightmare. This used to be Network, but with Needle Fiber's relevancy and the meta becoming less and less over time, I just kind of figured, like, you know, I don't need Network anymore. Also, this hits Needle Fiber on its own, so it's just kind of better. 1 Gravedigger. I've never needed more than 1. I can always reset it off Dionea, and also sometimes you just don't even use it. 1 Floodgate, because Floodgate is the GOAT trap hole. It's the best trap hole we have, aside from Gravedigger. 1 Bottomless, because sometimes they will summon the Link monster and you just kind of want to get rid of that. Especially if it's something like Laurel Sword or whatever. Then I'm running 1 Macrocosmos and 1 Imperial Order. This is pretty much just another defissure, and this is obviously because we only run 2 spells in the entire deck, so, you know, Sky Strikers and everything get hurt by it. Just solves some matchups right out for us. Yeah, that's the main deck, guys. Moving on to the extra deck. I'm running 2 copies of Sarah. When Genoa comes out in the new Link 2, I will be bumping this to 3. And I'm also running the Striker package, which is 1 Kaina, 1 Hayate. Kaina because if you go second, you can actually use this to prevent your opponent from attacking with one of their monsters the next turn. So if they got something big, you can pretty much keep them from utilizing it to OTK you. I know it's very niche, but I just figured it was better than running like Hayate for some reason. Also has a downward pointing arrow, so you can make like Sarah or something below it. And I will be cutting these 2 for the extra Sarah and the Link 2, most likely. Though I'm a little iffy on the Link 2 because it doesn't really do that much, I guess. Like, Sarah gives the deck everything it really needs, as far as consistency and advantage goes, and the Link 2 just doesn't really seem that worth it to me. And then I'm running Pentastag for the double OTK, and Link Spider, obviously for the Shade Brigandine Exceed combo that I absolutely hate, where you open a Brigandine and Exceed but you don't open a Traptrix. It's always been bad. And then I've got the Utopia package for Lightning, normal Utopia, and double. And I'm running one Rafflesia and one Alomarus. She's pretty niche for combo extension, and sometimes you can make her and then go into Utopia double using her effect to detach and then resummon something. It's pretty good for summoning Myrmelio from Grave or Dionea, so that you can either pop a spell or trap or you can reset like Grave Hole or something. And then Rafflesia is just good because it's built-in protection for all your Traptrix excluding her, so... Then for other XYZs, I'm running Dweller, Tornado, Baguska. You hate Graveyard, you hate other back row decks, and you hate Dinos. Or just any deck that tries to spam or whatever. This is also pretty good against Virtual World, so... And then one Redoer for the Brigandine stuff. Moving on to the side deck, I'm running 3D Shifter. This is essentially an extra defissured Macrocosmos, but I typically side out the Macrocosmos and the defissure going into game 2 if I'm going second, assuming I've won the die roll, or if I'm going second, going third, or game 3, I mean. It pretty much it's just another way of shutting down those strategies. And I'm running one Scythe, one Lancia. Obviously, for no extra deck, you don't want him to, you don't want Virtual World to make double calamities on you and then just OTK you. And then Lancia for the evenly, or just any high banishing deck. Like, I guess like Dinos. If you couldn't tell, Dinos seems to be a recurring problem for this deck, and it's because they just book the normal summon and then you pass turn without a Sarah. For spells, I'm running 3 Dark Ruler No More. You really don't have a problem breaking boards in this deck, specifically because you are able to chain block some things, and with Dark Ruler No More, it just completely gets rid of that problem of your opponent having multiple negates on the board, so you can pretty much make your board free and then pick apart pieces of their board, pass turn, and then they gotta salvage whatever's left of that. 3-pointer. I haven't seen a whole lot of people running this lately. I'm not quite sure why, because you not only get hand knowledge, but you rip a card out of their hand, at least until like end phase or something. And if you're playing a back row deck, this card is nuts, because not only do you get that hand knowledge, you can pretty much evaluate what you need to hit from their hand, using whatever back row you have, whatever monsters you have, but you get to rip that Lightning Storm or something out of their hand so they can't use it. And if they have multiple copies, then, you know, it just acts like a extra copy of Judgment, guys. Please run it. I promise you. I promise you will win more games against decks that are very heavily geared towards back row decks if you're running this card. And not even just that, but this triggers Sarah. Like, come on. 2 Sanctum, obvious reasons, Scythe and Lancia. And then 2 evenly matched, because Dark Ruler No More and evenly matched in the same hand equals your opponent loses everything. Almost everything, anyway. And I hope you guys like the mat. One of my homies on the channel, Harrison, actually got this mat for me. So shout out to him. He's a great dude. I love him. As far as combos go, let's do this. You know, you have the easy Brigandine combo, which is just a Traptrix and Brigandine, and this pretty much ends on Sarah and a back row, and an XYZ, which is typically either Redoer or Rafflesia, or Dweller, depending on the matchup. But you can actually do, and you know these are very simple combos. You can actually chain block your Exceed with the Brigandine, and then get the Sarah effect and have 2 XYZs and then a back row, and then whatever else you have. If you open Myrmelio, that changes to 2 back row and then the XYZs and everything. But the combo is pretty self-explanatory. Just Traptrix and then link it off. For your Sarah, oh, first you want to set the Brigandine and then do that interaction. And then after you do that, you'll trigger the Exceed in hand, and this is not where you want to do the chain block. Oh, actually, maybe it is. Yeah. So when you trigger the Exceed, you chain Brigandine to summon Brigandine, and then summon the Exceed, and then the Exceed's effect will activate, and then your Sarah's effect will activate, and you'll chain block the Exceed essentially. So if they have an Ash for the Exceed, they'll have to use it on the Sarah. Or if they have an Ogre, they'll have to use it on the Sarah. So essentially, you're guaranteed to have, like, at the bare minimum, an XYZ and Sarah, depending on their hand trap. I'm pretty sure that you can also chain block the Exceed's effect on summon, because you can go Exceed effect on summon, and then chain the Brigandine to chain block it that way. And then Exceed resolves and then Sarah effect on separate chain. So here you would just go for, like, normally if I summon Mantis, I'll summon Myrmelio, and then Myrmelio effect, and I forgot the Exceed, Myrmelio effect, and then Sarah separate chain to set your Floodgate if you don't already have it. Now, obviously, this board is capable of being Nibiru'd, in which case you would just use the Exceed to make Rafflesia, and then you would activate your Brigandine to make it Nibiru proof. So then you just go overlay those two for Rafflesia, and overlay these two for Redoer. And if you wanted to make the Link 2, you could make this into a Lomerus, and then you can special summon the Traptrix monster that you had in Grave, and then make the Link 2, and then you can use a Lomerus to summon another Sarah, so that you can have the Link 2 and Sarah. But I don't really know how I feel about that. I think I'd rather just have this, because it's essentially the same thing, but you're not, like, losing out on advantage, I guess. It's kind of weird, because once you start digging through your extra deck with Sarah's, your grind game is going to be a lot harder, and I've always felt that that's the most important part of Traptrix, is being able to maintain that grind. So yeah, that's that combo as far as the 4-Mud Skipper combo goes. Essentially, all you need is your 4-Mud Skipper, and what you do here is you normal the 4-Mud. If you have Exceed in hand already, you can just turn this into Sarah, and just get another search of Exceed and then special the Exceed that you already had in your hand, but you'll use its effect to reveal, if you're going first, you'll reveal Hayate, and then you'll link it off for Kaina. And then effective 4-Mud to search your Exceed. So you'll search your Exceed, and then you'll link off your Kaina. For your Hayate. Then you'll chain your Exceed, summon effect, summon. Then you'll overlay for Rafflesia or something. I think Rafflesia would be good here just to make the board Nibiru proof, but because that's like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess it's not Nibiru proof, but you get the idea. Rafflesia is probably the best one to make anyway, with this instance. And then you have all of your back row or whatever else. So yeah, it's pretty good. And then the Hayate can just attack directly every turn, which is pretty cool. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. And if you got any questions or anything you want to know in the comment, or about the comments, or about the video about the deck profile, about some recommendations that you might want, or about some recommendations to give me, just let us know down below in the comments. And thank you guys. I'll see you later. Peace.